And even today, decades later, the themes of 9 to 5 still matter. The struggles, the humor, and the message about working women remain as relevant as ever. Dolly helped give that story authenticity and a soul that still speaks to audiences. Her legacy reminds us why this film endures. It wasn't only about entertainment, but about truth, resilience, and the power of unity. What if I told you that just 5 simple words could flip the switch inside his mind and make him chase you nonstop? Not 10, not 20, not a long paragraph full of explanations, just 5 words. Imagine the power of holding that kind of influence. Too good to be true. That's what most people think. But in reality, the human brain is wired to respond to small triggers that awaken curiosity, desire, and emotion. Think about it. We live in a world where endless scrolling, short replies, and distractions are everywhere. Most texts get ignored, overlooked, or forgotten. But when you send something different, something short, unexpected, and charged with hidden meaning, it doesn't just grab attention. It plants a seed in his mind that he can't shake off. He starts to wonder, to replay those words, to search for the meaning behind them. That's the secret that makes him want more. In this video, you're not just going to hear a random phrase. You're going to learn why these 5 words work, the psychology that makes them irresistible, and how to use them at the right time without looking desperate. You'll also discover the biggest mistakes people make when trying this and how to avoid them so the effect is powerful, not awkward. Stay with me until the end, because once you understand this, you'll see texting and attraction in a way you never had before. This might just be the turning point in how he sees you. When it comes to attraction, people overcomplicate things. They think they need the perfect pickup line or long emotional text that pour everything out. But the truth is far simpler. Sometimes it only takes a few words, delivered the right way at the right time, to change the entire direction of how someone feels about you. In this video, you're going to learn exactly what those 5 words are. You'll understand why they work so effectively, how they trigger emotions inside the mind, and the smartest way to use them so you don't come across as needy or forced. It's not about playing games. It's about knowing how human psychology responds to short, powerful cues that spark curiosity and attention. These 5 words aren't just random. They've been shown to activate what's called the curiosity gap. This is a psychological effect where your brain craves to close the gap between what it knows and what it wants to know. When you send a short, intriguing phrase, you don't give the full story. And that's what makes him want to lean in. He'll feel the urge to reply, to ask questions, to stay connected. Most people make the mistake of over-explaining, but attraction grows in space, not in pressure. That's why this simple 5-word text is far more powerful than long confessions or endless conversations. But here's the important part. You have to understand that words alone won't magically create a relationship. This isn't a secret code that guarantees he'll fall at your feet. These 5 words open a door. But what happens after depends on your energy, your mindset, and how you carry yourself. If you send them with desperation or clinginess, the effect dies instantly. If you send them with calm confidence, that's when they create the pull you want. Texts work as an extension of your energy, not a replacement for it. Imagine this. You send a 5-word phrase that makes him pause, reread, and wonder. In his mind, it doesn't feel like just another message. It feels different. That difference is what makes him respond faster, think about you more, and chase the connection instead of drifting away. But if you expect this to tour like magic, you'll miss the point. Attraction is never about tricks. It's about alignment between your words and the energy behind them. When your mindset is right, even the smallest words can create the biggest effect. Think about the way most conversations go. How are you? I'm fine. What's up? Not much. Boring, predictable, forgettable. That's why people lose interest so quickly. Now imagine dropping something short, intriguing, and loaded with subtle emotion. It's like switching from static to music. He feels the difference, even if he can't explain why. That's the reason these 5 words stand out. They break the pattern, they interrupt the ordinary, and they spark a chase. And the chase is not about games, it's about igniting genuine curiosity and desire. So as you listen, I want you to remember this. The power is not only in the words themselves, but also in how you use them. You'll learn how timing matters, why restraint makes you more magnetic, and why silence after the message can be louder than sending 5 follow-ups. You'll also see the traps most people fall into, like sending these words too early, or repeating them over and over until the magic is gone. That's not the way to use them. The right use is about mystery, timing, and confidence. By the time we reach the end of this video, you'll know the exact 5 words to text him, the reason behind their power, and the smartest strategy to make them work for you. This isn't about manipulation. It's about sparking genuine interest and allowing space for real connection to grow. When you understand that, you'll see why less is more and why just 5 words can sometimes be stronger than 1,000. Words matter more than people realize, especially in texting. Unlike face-to-face conversations, you don't have body language, tone of voice, or facial expressions to carry the meaning. All you have are words on a screen. That's why every phrase you send carries extra weight. A simple choice of words can come across as casual, playful, distant, or even needy. The timing also adds another layer. Sending the right message too soon can kill the mood, while sending it after the right pause can create curiosity and anticipation. Texts may seem small, but they're like sparks. If used well, they light a fire. If used carelessly, they burn out instantly. Psychologists have long studied how the brain responds to short, powerful messages. Human beings are naturally wired to seek out patterns and fill in gaps. When a message leaves just enough unsaid, it triggers curiosity. It's the same principle behind cliffhangers in movies or books. You feel compelled to know what happens next. In texting, a few words can achieve that same effect. Instead of explaining everything, you hint. Instead of overloading the conversation, you create space. That space makes the other person lean in, wanting to know more. It's not about trickery. It's about engaging the natural desire for discovery. This is where intrigue and tension come into play. Too much availability can flatten the energy between two people. If every message is long, detailed, and immediate, it gives the other person no room to miss you, no reason to wonder what's on your mind. But when your texts are carefully chosen, short, and timed with intention, they pull someone closer without you having to push. That tension is not negative. It's what makes attraction grow. A little distance creates magnetism, and the right words bridge that distance in just the right way. Now let's talk about the principle behind the chase. Human beings, whether they admit it or not, are drawn to mystery and challenge. When something feels too easy, it often loses its value. But when it feels rare, uncertain, or slightly out of reach, it becomes more desirable. In relationships, this principle is always at play. If you are always available, always responding instantly, and always giving too much, the energy shifts. It feels like there's nothing to work for. But when you hold back just enough, when your presence feels earned, you create a chase that is both exciting and natural. The chase isn't about playing cruel games or making someone feel anxious. It's about respecting your own worth and not giving all of yourself away instantly. Think of it as a balance. You show interest, but you also leave space for him to invest. You reveal enough to spark desire, but not so much that the mystery dies. It's this balance that makes attraction feel alive. In fact, people enjoy what they invest energy into. When someone puts in effort to win your attention, they value it more deeply. That's why holding back a little is not manipulation. It's alignment with how attraction naturally works. The idea of pull, don't push captures this perfectly. Pushing looks like chasing, forcing, or over-explaining. It feels heavy and it usually creates resistance. Pulling, on the other hand, looks like dropping a short, intriguing message that makes him want to come closer. It's effortless, magnetic, and much more powerful. Pulling allows curiosity to grow in the other person's mind. It makes him wonder, what did she mean by that? Or why does this feel different? And once that thought is planted, he becomes the one moving toward you, not away from you. When you combine the psychology of words with the principle of the chase, you unlock a strategy that feels natural and effective. Texts stop being just casual lines on a screen. They become tools for creating connection, building tension, and inviting someone to invest more deeply. That's why words matter. That's why timing matters. And that's why mastering the balance of intrigue and availability can shift the entire dynamic between you and him. It's not about saying more, it's about saying just enough to pull him closer. Here's where everything comes together. The 5 words that can flip the switch in his mind are simple. I can't stop thinking about you. Just 5 short words, but when they land at the right moment, they carry a weight that no long speech ever could. They are short enough to feel casual, yet powerful enough to spark curiosity and emotion. The magic isn't only in the phrase itself, it's in when and how you use it. Drop these words after a conversation has already started, when there's a good vibe flowing, or even after a pause when he might not be expecting much. Sending them out of nowhere too soon or in the wrong tone can make them lose their power. But send them when the energy feels warm and connected, and they create a pull that's impossible to ignore. Let's break it down word by word. The first word, I, might seem like the simplest, but it's the most important. It makes the message personal. It shows ownership and vulnerability. You're not hiding behind a vague idea or a general statement. You're saying that these thoughts are yours, that they belong to you. Starting with I sets the tone that what follows is deeply personal, not something copied or generic. It creates intimacy before the rest of the words even land. The second word, can't, adds urgency and tension. It's not I don't stop or I won't stop. It's can't, which suggests you have no control over it. That lack of control communicates emotional depth. It makes him feel that you're genuinely pulled toward him, not calculating or pretending. This one small word transforms the message from casual interest into something much stronger. It shows that he has a hold on your thoughts in a way you can't resist, and that's exactly what creates the pull. The third word, stop, works hand in hand with can't. It reinforces the idea of resistance, of something that should be possible but isn't. The brain responds strongly to contradictions like this. Saying you can't stop creates a paradox that makes the statement more memorable. It's the difference between I'm thinking about you and I can't stop thinking about you. One sounds polite, the other sounds irresistible. That little word stop adds a sense of ongoing motion, as if the thoughts keep coming back no matter what you do. The fourth word, thinking, makes it clear what's happening. It's not just feeling, it's not just noticing, it's active thought. It suggests that he's living rent-free in your mind, that his presence lingers even when he's not around. Thinking is powerful because it shows he has invaded your mental space, not just your emotional space. People are drawn to the idea of being unforgettable, and thinking plants that exact image. It also softens the intensity of the previous words, grounding the message in something natural and relatable. Finally, the fifth word, about, connects the entire phrase directly to him. Without about, the phrase has no direction. Adding it points the arrow straight at the person receiving it, making him the focus. And then, of course, the final you seals the phrase. Together, about you, transforms the entire sentence into a declaration. It leaves no doubt about who is on your mind, who has captured your attention, and who now feels the pressure to respond. When all 5 words come together, they shift the energy of the conversation instantly. The message is short, but it contains layers. Personal vulnerability, urgency, paradox, thought, and focus. Each word adds its own weight. And tenor, they create a phrase that is emotionally charged, direct, and unforgettable. It's this balance that makes him stop whatever he's doing and think about you in return. It's not complicated, it's not dramatic, but it feels deeply personal and powerful. That's why this phrase works when nothing else seems to. The way you send these 5 words matters just as much as the words themselves. Timing is everything. Drop them too early before there's a real connection, and they may come across as heavy or even confusing. Hold them back until the energy feels right, and they land with impact. A good time to use this phrase is after a fun conversation, when the mood is already light, or even after a day or two of silence, when he might not expect much from you. The surprise element combined with genuine warmth is what makes him lean in. If you send it while the connection is still fragile or forced, the effect fades instantly. The goal is not to pressure him, but to spark curiosity and emotion at the same time. Delivery also requires restraint. Too many dramatic lines in a short span of time can make you look desperate, even if your words are powerful. Think of these 5 words as seasoning, not the main course. Sprinkle them in to add flavor, not to carry the whole conversation. If you're tempted to repeat them, resist. Part of the reason they work is because of their rarity. Say them once and they sound special. Say them every day and they lose their magic. Less really is more. Use this phrase sparingly. Once every few weeks, or in moments where it feels natural, is more than enough. Attraction doesn't grow from constant reminders. It grows from contrast in space. If he always knows what you're thinking and feeling, there's no tension left. Mystery disappears when you repeat yourself too often. By holding back, you make the words unforgettable. You want him to replay them in his mind, not scroll past them because he sees them too often. After sending the message, the best thing you can do is follow up with normal conversation. Don't linger on the phrase. Don't send 5 more texts asking how he feels about it. Instead, let it sit. Transition back into playful banter, a funny story, or a casual question. This balance prevents the energy from becoming too heavy and shows him that you're confident in what you just said. It tells him, yes, I meant it, but I don't need to push it. That lightness makes the words echo louder in his mind because you didn't over-explain or cling to them. Now, what should you expect after sending it? There are a few possibilities. He might reply immediately, with enthusiasm because the phrase caught him off guard in a good way. He might pause, take his time, and respond later with curiosity. Or he might test the waters with a neutral answer before revealing his real feelings. Each of these responses has meaning, and it's important to read them carefully. An enthusiastic reply shows that the energy between you is strong. A delayed but thoughtful reply shows he's processing and intrigued. A lukewarm answer doesn't always mean rejection. It may simply mean the timing wasn't right. How you respond to his reaction is critical. If he comes back with energy, match it without going overboard. If his response feels neutral, stay calm and lighthearted. The biggest mistake is appearing desperate when there's silence or delay. Not every man responds instantly, and that doesn't mean he isn't interested. Life gets in the way, distractions happen, and not every moment is the right moment for him to reply. What matters is your reaction. If you start double texting, chasing, or demanding reassurance, you undo the very effect you wanted to create. The strongest move you can make after sending these 5 words is to act as if you're not waiting by the phone. Live your life, stay busy, and let him feel the weight of the message without you hovering over it. That calm confidence is what makes him think about you more, not less. In fact, often it's the silence after your words that creates the deepest pull. He's left replaying them, wondering why you didn't push, and that mystery makes him want to chase. By mastering timing, restraint, and follow-up, you ensure those 5 words don't just land, they linger. The 5-word phrase may feel simple, but many people misuse it, and that's when the effect fades. One of the most common mistakes is using it too early. If you send it before you've built even a small connection, it won't land as powerful. It will feel forced. Imagine meeting someone once and then texting them that you can't stop thinking about them. Instead of pulling him in, it may make him question your intentions. Timing matters because attraction grows in stages. A phrase that feels magnetic after weeks of talking may feel overwhelming after only one day. Patience makes the difference between creating a spark and blowing out the flame. Another pitfall is sending the phrase in the wrong tone. Words carry energy, and even through a screen, people can sense desperation or overdramatic emotion. If you send the message with too many emojis, or if you follow it up by insisting he reply, it turns from charming to clingy. The words are supposed to create light tension, not pressure. When they feel heavy, they lose their charm. The secret is in balance. Send them in a calm, confident tone, and they feel natural. Send them with nervous energy, and they feel like a demand. Repetition is another trap that people fall into. The first time, the words feel rare and special. The second time, they lose some shine. By the third time, they may even sound like a habit instead of genuine emotion. Overusing this phrase not only kills its magic, but it also makes it look like you have no other way to connect. Attraction thrives on variety and mystery. When you say the same thing over and over, there's no mystery left. The key is to let the words echo in his mind, not drown them in repetition. Another mistake is ignoring his response or trying to pressure him after sending it. If he answers with excitement, acknowledge it and flow into the conversation. If he seems neutral, don't push him to give you more. And if he takes time to respond, don't fill the silence with demands. Pressuring him undoes the entire effect. Remember, the power of these words is in sparking curiosity, not in forcing an outcome. Your ability to stay relaxed no matter how he reacts shows strength and makes him value your presence more. Supporting these words with the right strategies makes them even more effective. Building attraction isn't about one phrase alone. It's about the overall energy you create. Share interesting stories or funny moments that make him laugh. Humor lowers defenses and creates emotional connection, while stories help him see you as someone worth remembering. When the foundation is strong, the 5-word phrase feels authentic instead of random. Another powerful strategy is being low maintenance. That doesn't mean ignoring him or acting cold. It means having your own life, your own focus, and your own happiness. When you're not waiting for his every text, he feels the difference. That independence is magnetic because it shows you don't need him, but you choose him. Attraction grows when someone feels they have to earn a place in your busy, fulfilled life. Using teaser text is another way to keep things playful and light. A message like "Guess what just happened?" or "You won't believe this" creates curiosity without pressure. Playful communication keeps the energy alive. So when you finally drop the 5-word phrase, it doesn't feel out of nowhere. It feels like a natural part of the dynamic you've built. Matching his energy is just as important. If he's sending short replies, you don't need to overwhelm him with paragraphs. If he's enthusiastic, mirror that energy without going overboard. Relationships thrive on balance. When you always chase, he feels less motivated to invest. But when you mirror his pace, he senses harmony. This balance makes the 5-word message more impactful because it aligns with the rhythm of the connection. Avoiding mistakes and supporting your words with strong strategies ensures the phrase does what it's meant to do. Create pull instead of pressure. Attraction is not built on one text, but on a pattern of energy, mystery, and emotional connection. By being intentional, playful, and balanced, you let those 5 words work to their fullest potential. Knowing when not to use these 5 words is just as important as knowing when to send them. One of the biggest mistakes people make is dropping this phrase into a cold or lifeless conversation. If the energy is flat, if he's barely replying, or if the exchange feels forced, sending "I can't stop thinking about you" won't revive it. In fact, it may make the silence feel even heavier. Attraction grows when there's already a spark, not when you're trying to force one. If the conversation is cold, it's better to reset, take a break, and rebuild the energy before reaching for a phrase with this much weight. Another situation to avoid is when you haven't built any real rapport. Connection takes time, even in the digital age. If you barely know him or if your conversations have stayed surface level, a sudden deep emotional text can feel misplaced. He may not know how to respond, or worse, he might question your intentions. Rapport is the soil in which attraction grows. Without it, no phrase can take root. Patience matters. Let the connection breathe before using powerful words that demand emotional attention. It's also wise not to use this phrase when he's already shown clear disinterest. If he has pulled away, ignored your messages, or stopped engaging, the last thing you want to do is chase harder. Sending a strong emotional line in that moment doesn't inspire him. It pushes him further back. Attraction cannot be forced on someone who has decided to disengage. In these cases, stepping back, protecting your energy, and giving him space is the smarter move. Sometimes silence speaks louder than any words you could send. That doesn't mean you're left without tools. There are other short variations and alternatives that can be just as powerful but less heavy. For example, a phrase like "I was just thinking about you" carries a softer tone. It doesn't say you can't stop. It simply shares that he crossed your mind. It creates curiosity without overwhelming. Another variation is, "This just made me think of you." This one is perfect when you're sharing a picture, a meme, or a random moment. It feels natural, lighthearted, but still personal. Both phrases keep the energy alive without placing too much emotional weight on him. The key to choosing the right variation is understanding his personality and communication style. If he's playful and light, lean into versions that feel casual and fun. "You'd laugh at this," or "This reminded me of you," keeps the energy aligned with who he is. If he's more emotional and expressive, the deeper 5-word phrase works better. "I can't stop thinking about you" resonates with someone who enjoys open emotional connection. The goal is not to copy-paste lines, but to adjust the energy to fit the person you're speaking to. Sometimes even fewer than 5 words are enough. A simple "miss you right now" or "wish you were here" can spark the same effect without overloading the moment. These shorter variations work especially well when the timing doesn't call for something as strong as the original phrase. They're quick, light, and they plant the same seed of curiosity. The beauty of these short texts is that they leave space for him to respond, to lean in, and to add his own energy to the conversation. By having multiple variations, you also avoid the danger of repetition. If you rely only on one phrase, it loses its impact over time. Mixing it up keeps things fresh and makes your messages unpredictable in a good way. The more unpredictable, the more he stays intrigued. Variety adds layers to the connection, making him feel like every conversation has something new to discover. Ultimately, the power isn't just in the words, it's in when, how, and why you use them. Knowing when to hold back is just as powerful as knowing when to send a message. Using alternatives wisely gives you flexibility to adapt to different situations and personalities. This balance ensures your words don't just fill space but create real impact, keeping him drawn in and invested without ever feeling pressured. Let's wrap this up. Those 5 little words, I can't stop thinking about you, work because they tap directly into emotion. They spark curiosity, create intimacy, and remind him that he matters to you. But here's the real truth. You don't need to lean on lines or tricks every day to keep someone's attention. Confidence, self-value, and having a life outside of him are what make these words powerful when you do use them. So here's your challenge. Try this phrase or one of its lighter variations in your next conversation. Notice how he reacts. Then come back and share your experience in the comments, or even better, tell us your own version of these 5 words. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss new insights.